Vinyl ASMR. Let's just get it.
We think of present events as being caused by past events. And therefore, we tend to regard ourselves as the puppets of the past, as driven along by something that is always behind us. Now, to overcome this impression, it's very simple. You begin again with an experiment. Approach the world through your ears. If you shut your eyes and make contact with reality purely with your ears, and you will realize that the sounds you are hearing are all coming out of silence. You hear? And it fades away. Fades, 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 and finally disappears. It's a curious world, this, isn't it? Because you hear all the realities in it. The sounds, suddenly coming out of nothing. You don't see any reason for them to begin. They just appear, and then they echo away through the corridors of the mind, which we call memory. Now, if you open your eyes, it's a little harder to see this with your eyes because, unlike sounds, the eyes sound static. Or rather, they look static. Everything looks still to your eyes. But you must understand, the world you are looking at, say when you look at a light, that light is vibrating. All material things are vibrations, and they are vibrating at you now in the same way as the sound is vibrating on your ears. In other words, the present world that you see is a vibration coming just as the sound comes out of silence. The light is coming out of space. It's coming out of nothing straight at you now and echoing away into the past. So the course of time is really very much like the course of a ship in the ocean. Because here's the ship, you see, and it leaves behind it a wake. And the wake fades out, and that tells us where the ship has been, in just the same way as the past and our memory of the past tells us what we have done. But as we go back into the past, and we go back and back to prehistory, and we use all kinds of instruments and scientific methods for detecting what happened, we eventually reach a point where all record of the past fades away in just the same way as the wake of the ship. Now, the important thing to remember in this illustration is that the wake doesn't drive the ship any more than the tail wags the dog.
Boom, and there you go, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Meaning Stream number 162. It's number 162. We in here. We got the record player. We got a record playing on it. That was a record. Did you hear it? It was the record. Woo.
Where the ship has been.
DJ.
Now, if you open.
DJ. Nice, nice. Yes, we got a record player. We've got records, and finally. We've been waiting for what, like nearly a month? Nearly a month? We got the first. We did. Well, let me back it up. So a couple of months ago, we did a crowdfunding campaign to get vinyl, happening, to make vinyl happen. You know vinyl. You know vinyl. Yeah, vinyl is this stuff. It's like a circle. It's like a magic circle that makes sound. It's a magic circle that plays music. It's very, very crazy. If you were born after, I don't know, 1990 or something, you might think that music just kind of like comes out of the air, you know? Comes out of a computer, comes out of a phone, you know, something like that. Out of a computer, out of a phone, out of an elevator, out of a TV. But, well, yeah, that's not the only place it comes out of. It can also come out of a beautiful vinyl circle. Vinyl is a kind of material. It's a special kind of material that God likes. You know, it's a special kind of material that God is very fond of. It's pretty magical. You have like grooves and a needle, and it spins around, and the needle sort of caresses it. A needle sort of caresses it fondly, you know, and music comes out. It's pretty crazy. Now, one of the benefits of this amazing technology that maybe you've never seen before, but here it is, you know, right there. If you're listening on the podcast, just visualize a beautiful black circle. One of the benefits of this thing is that if you had some particularly violent sunspot activity, that could wipe out every hard drive on the planet. That would get rid of everything on Spotify. Boom. Just like that. Everything on Spotify, boom, gone just like that. Everything on any streaming service, gone just like that. In fact, all that would remain would be these. If you wanted to listen to music anyway, well, it'd be these, or like, you know, listening to someone bang a rock. You know, bang a rock on a table. You know, you'd have to listen to something like that. You know, some of that kind of business. Who was it the other day? I saw someone on Twitter posting one of those, you know, best rapper of all time links around, and they had Eminem at number 1 or something, and a wise homie of mine, Rob Percy, had replied and said, you know, he wouldn't put Eminem at number 1,436 on his list, and I thought he was being generous, frankly. And, you know, I think some people confuse rapping with shouting really, really fast, shouting cringe stuff really, really fast. That's not rapping. Shouting cringe stuff really, really fast is not rapping. That's a different thing. And we need a name for it. We need a name for it because it's the thing that people do. Shouting cringe stuff really fast. You know, puns. Verbose puns at high speed. I mean, you know, people who used to write for music magazines like The Enemy and Melody Maker and things like that, they would write puns. You know, you wouldn't put them in lists of geniuses, would you? No. You'd put them in the Dole queue is what you would do with them. But anyway, I digress. I digress. So we had a plan to save MEANINGWAVE, you know, to secure the future of MEANINGWAVE, to save it from particularly violent sunspot activity and other such potential disasters. Maybe some aliens turn up with a giant magnet. You never know. You never know what's going to occur. Aliens could indeed show up with a giant magnet. Brothers and sisters, they could. And then what are you going to do? They wipe out all your hard drives. And then where are you? Eh? You're in a terrible place, baby, because you don't have MEANINGWAVE. Well, now you do. Now you do, because WATTSWAVE 6 exists on vinyl. We listened to it 3 or 4 weeks ago when the test pressings came through from the vinyl factory, the vinyl pressing plant. And what you listened to at the beginning of this broadcast, which was Time on the 7-inch. That came through too, with a beautiful B-side, which nobody has heard. Only me. Only me and the people in the pressing plant. And my beautiful wife, Charlotte, who had to listen to 10 of the things to make sure they were all consistent. Yes! Well, anyway, we were waiting on the second of the vinyl. So we did this, we did a campaign, you know, to get some MEANINGWAVE on vinyl. And we did the Web of Life, parts 1 and 2 on vinyl, plus a 7-inch. That's what we did. And we've already heard part 2 that arrived like 4 weeks ago or something, 3 weeks ago. And we listened to it and it was amazing. Hurrah, we said, hurrah. Very amazing, very glad were we. Very amazing, very glad were we. So we listened to it and yeah, then we were waiting for part 1, you know. And part 1 got held up at customs because the government claimed it. The government said, what is this? This might be some, I don't know what they thought it was. I don't know what kind of suspicious package or, you know, I guess some kind of, you know, illicit psychotechnology. I don't know what they thought was going on. I mean, we'll put it across to you. Let's put it across to you for the international high five. Why do you think the people, the government people at customs impounded WATTSWAVE 5? And also tell me where you came from to get to the MAZ today. But why do you think they did? And they kept it for weeks. They kept it for weeks and they wouldn't let it go. It took a lot of weird wrangling to let them, to convince them to let it go eventually, and they eventually did last week. And we got it today. Hurrah, we got it, we got it, we got it, we got it. We got it, yes we do. Case says, what is the next album you're going to immortalize in vinyl? Well, let's get this one done first. And then we can talk about that. You know, this is the first one we've done. It was like, we'd never done one before. It was a whole process. We had to work it out, you know. But we did. We worked it out, and it's. I'm very excited. You know, and this is the final bit of the process, is listening. We're going to listen. Where is it? We're going to listen. We're going to listen, and we're going to check it's good. We have to check it's good. It better be good. Oh, my goodness. What if it isn't? What will we do? But if it is good, then it gets pressed, and then it goes out to you, and you get it, and you go, oh, my goodness, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life, and also the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my life. And then we can move on to the next one by Joe. But, you know, we've got to make sure this one is done correctly, and you get it in your hands, and you love it. You got to love it, baby. I want to check something.
Grade system.
Ooh, that was close. you nearly got the B-side. Oops, oops, oops. That would have been funny. Yeah.
And the wake fades out. And that tells us where the ship has been. In just the same way as the past and our memory of the past tells us what we have done. But as we go back into the past, and we go back and back to prehistory, and we use all kinds of instruments and scientific methods for detecting what happened, we eventually reach a point fades away in just the same way as the wake of the ship. Now, the important thing to remember in this illustration...
Oh, excuse me, I got lost there for a second. I was A-Bing, but then I realized it was A-Bing. I was A-Bing with an instrumental. I want to A-B with the actual thing. Wait, let me A-B. I just want to make sure that I've got the record player hooked up correctly. You know, record players, it's interesting. They, well, they're record players, you know. They don't act like Spotify. They don't act like MP3 players. They don't act like CD players. They're their own thing. You know, and they're quite particular, and you have to tune them and all sorts of weirdness. You have to do all sorts of weird shit with these things, baby. Yes, you do. To make sure they're correct. And, yeah, so let's make sure it's correct.
We think of present events
Because
that tells us where the ship has
by
been.
past events.
let's get them both at the beginning, shall we? And you can join me. This will be scientific. We can do it together. I like it when we do things together. How about you? Huh? How about you? Do you like it when we do things together? Do you? Because I do. All right.
We think of present events as being caused by past events. Regard ourselves as the puppets of the past. Regard ourselves as the puppets of the past by something that is always behind us. Something that is always behind us. Now, to overcome this impression, it's very simple. To overcome this impression, it's very simple. With an experiment. You begin again with an experiment.
through your ears. If you shut your eyes and make contact with reality, and you will realize...
Isn't that crazy? Can you tell? Can you tell, by the way? One of them is just is warmer and thicker. It's so strange.
Of silence.
You hear?
And it fades away. And finally disappears.
And one is a little sort of sharper and more brittle.
All the realities in it. The sounds. Suddenly coming out of nothing. You don't see any reason for them to begin. They just appear, and then they echo away through the corridors of the mind, which we call memory. Now, if you open your eyes, it's a little harder to see this with your eyes because, unlike sounds...
sounding very nice, I gotta say. Someone's saying they need it louder. Someone wants it louder.
They look...
How's the volume for everybody in general?
...to your eyes. But you must understand, the world you are looking at, say when you look at a light, that light is vibrating.
Oh, I know.
Material things are vibrations, and they are vibrating at you now.
There you go, how's that?
Same way as the sound.
How's that, baby?
In your ears.
What up, Caroline H says, I'm enjoying this adventure we're having together. Hey, me too.
The world that you see is a vibration coming just as the sound comes out of silence. The light is coming out of space.
Yeah.
It's coming out of nothing straight at you now and echoing away. So the course of time of a ship, very much like the course.
Absolutely astounding. One is a little sort of thin and brittle, and the other one is thick and warm and goopy.
Because here's the ship, you see.
Hey.
And it leaves behind it a wake. And the wake fades out. And that tells us where the ship has been. In just the same way as the past and our memory of the past tells us what we have done.
But as we go back...
Yo, I can't bear listening to anything that isn't vinyl now. That sounds horrible. What the heck? Why? I don't understand.
The point where all record of the past fades away.
Soothing on the ear.
In just the same way as the wake of the... The wake doesn't drive the ship. The wake doesn't drive the ship.
Baffling. Anyway, all right, fine. A and B's reckons young government inspectors have never seen vinyl albums. Koti Khan says they wanted to listen to it. Ego Cognis, Little Rock, they were scared of MEANINGWAVE existing. Yeah, I mean, that's possible. That's possible. Joshua Trans has got to prepare for the giant meteor headed towards the Earth. There's another one, isn't there? We got another meteor headed towards the Earth. I do believe it's the size of one of those race car beds, though. A race car children's bed. I think it's about the size of one of them, so I wouldn't worry. I mean, of course, I mean, if it hit you, it'd hurt, but the thing is going to burn up before it gets anywhere near you, isn't it? Unless you happen to be, I don't know, chilling on one of Elon Musk's space cars or whatever's going on. You know, so I won't worry. Shouts out to those race car beds. I once had one. I once slept in one. I lived with a drug dealer for a short amount of time. It was very weird. I didn't know he was a drug dealer. I thought he was a clothes salesman. I met him in the Bull Ring in Birmingham. He was selling clothes, but he was also a drug dealer. And, yeah. I was like, so I needed somewhere to live or something? He's like, oh, yeah, I got a place. And then I get there, and basically he was like, this is a kid's room. He's like, yeah, wife took the kids. I was like, okay. Anyway, AP says government is not about the wave. I think some of them probably are. I bet we've got friends in the government. Shouts out to the government. Hello. I'd like to take this opportunity to say hi to my NSA guy. Hi, NSA guy. And I'll also say hi to the FBI guy. Where's the FBI guy? Is the FBI guy over here? Hi, FBI guy. Hi. Where's my Mossad guy? I'm sure I've got a Mossad guy. Hey, Mossad guy. Hey. And maybe I've got a British Secret Service guy. I don't know. Or a Scotland Yard guy. Is that you over? Is that hi? How you doing? Shouts out to all the intelligence agencies. Shouts out to all the alphabet people. You know, with the professional ones. You know, not the ones who are a community. There's all these different things, you know. There's only so many letters, and they've all got a lot to do. Letters are overworked, you know. They probably need a union. Anyway, AP says government inspecting alien vinyl technology. Probably are. Luke says they held it up due to weight and size and because it was coming from Mexico to Texas. Drugs. But it wasn't coming from Mexico. It was coming from Poland. Unless it went via Mexico. I don't know why that would happen, though. I think Poland's over the other side. You know, Poland's where my grandfather came from. You know, so it's a family thing. Luke says they wanted to see if they could collect taxes off you. I mean, that's probably likely. Probably likely, huh? Yeah. Pixie, Auckland, New Zealand, concerned the vinyl would unleash epic activities as yet unseen in the peak of recorded human history. Indeed, indeed, indeed. That's a likely thing. Might get in the way of some plans. They might have some plans. AP says, what's the CD? You don't want to know. Don't worry about that. They don't do particularly well with Sunspot activity. I mean, they don't last very well at all. Everyone's like, CDs, they're amazing. This is the future. We're going to charge you twice as much as an album. Buy everything again. They just made everyone to rebuy everything on cassette. It's funny to me now, because you think about it, cassettes lasted like, I don't know, 7 years or something. MP3s have been around for like 20 years. The cassette, its lifespan was very short before it was then replaced by CD. The music business had this wonderful swizz going that, we can sell everyone the same shit multiple times. We'll just keep putting it on a different thing. They tried to do mini discs. That didn't really work, you know. But they did manage to sell my dad the same album on vinyl, then cassette, then CD, and then probably, I don't know actually. I don't know what he does now. I'll have to ask him. Does he still buy CDs? I mean, he has so many CDs, my dad. Shouts out to my dad. And shouts out to the internet. The internet seems to be packing up. That's good news, obviously. Wonderful. That's what we like. That's what we like. We like it when the internet packs up. Do I need to switch to a different internet? I got 2 internets. You know, luckily we got 2 internets here just for when one of them starts buggering up. You know, anyway, let's see how this one goes. Let's keep an eye on it for a minute. Maybe it's going to be okay. Maybe it's going to be okay. We were trying to do an international high five before we played this record. By goodness. Kay says, I can hear the difference, but I'm also wearing 600 ohm headphones. Ohm. Hey, good for you. Proud of you. Thank you, Alec Moran, for the support. God bless you. God bless you. Ms. Super Conductor says, wait, why Tom Hanks's? What? Joe's Bakery says you need to put more isotope vinyl on the digital version. I can't put, if I put any more in it, that's all you'll hear. No, I actually don't, well, hang on. That does. See how we get on with this one. There's got to be a smart way. If there's any geniuses out there who know of any kind of device that can switch between 2 internets. So if one of them stops working, the other one will just pick it up seamlessly. I feel that has to be a thing. It's got to be a thing. Anyway. Smash that like. Kailash Rascal and Echo says, good job pissing him off, Akira. Who? Who did I piss off? What did I do? I got so confused with the internet. Kosi Khan says Ethernet cable man. What is that? Like Superman, but more annoying. Superconductor says every time Tom Hanks gets said, it stalls. Really? Tom Hanks, Tom Hanks, Tom Hanks. Oh, shit. That's stupid. He might appear behind me with his filthy disease. Yeah, that's no good. No, 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 no. We can't be having that. No, we can't be having that. We're having a listening party. We're going to listen to some vinyl. We're going to do it right now. Are you ready? I think the internet's working. Are you ready? Let's do that high five. Across space and time, if you're locked in live, let's do a high five, baby. Do you like a high five? Yes, you do. Yeah, do. Dong. 3, 2, 1. Hurrah! High five. International. All over the world. Sigmund Wang got here, so we can do it now. We were waiting for Sigmund Wang. And now Sigmund Wang is here. Sigmund Wang is here, so we can now put the record on the turntable. This is going to be very ASMR. Are you ready? Are you excited? Are you awash with joy and glee? This is very, this is a very pivotal moment in MEANINGWAVE history. Pivotal moment in MEANINGWAVE history. WATTSWAVE 5. We're going to listen to it. If it's good, it gets pressed, and MEANINGWAVE vinyl will then exist. It'll get mailed out to you. You'll receive it. It'll exist in the world. If it sounds shit, I don't know what we're going to do. But so let's hope it doesn't. And I don't know about hope. Hope's weird, huh? I just always assume everything's going to be great. That's what I do. That's my plan. It's a good plan too. All right. In the words of Andre 3000, all right. Do you ever get a bit nervous when you're putting a vinyl on? Does that ever happen to you? Does it? Just going to take a moment to do the sacred blowing of the vinyl. You got to blow on it. You got to blow on the vinyl. Blow on the WATTSWAVE 5 test pressing, because that's what this is. If you just popped in, you don't know what's going on. We're about to listen to the WATTSWAVE 5, the Web of Life, Part 1, vinyl test pressing. If it sounds good, we are going to press a whole gang of them, and you're going to get them. How about that? All right. It looks pretty good. It landed pretty nicely. Okay. Let's see what you got, mister. Ah, nice. That's the wrong side. Oh, that's a D. I thought that was an A. I mean, sometimes you get the D. And the A. That looks like a D. I wrote... Oh, goodness. Yeah. See, it looks like an E, but it's a D. Well, good to know that that one works. But now, no, the suspense. The suspense is killing me. All right, let's try that again. WATTSWAVE 5. WATTSWAVE 5, the Web of Life. Part 1. Side A. Okay, that's an A. Look at it. I should know my own writing by now, but I don't write myself too many letters, And that's really annoying because you notice the way I put that one on previously was perfect, right? There was no crackle, no scratch. It just lowered down in the perfect place. Anyway, we can try it again. Oh yeah, we've got to do the customary blowing of the vinyl. Okay, we did the customary blowing of the vinyl. It was good. .33 RPM. That's revolutions per minute. Oh, the internet's not good. Okay, we'll swap it over to the other internet. Lots of people. I shouldn't be, making it about me having bad luck with the internet. No. Okay. All right. Okay. Prayers for the internet and prayers for the vinyl. Let's get it. Oop. There you go. Let's go.
Akira.
He's got clout.
The web of life.
Let me try from the first to indicate the point that we're aiming at. The point is this, that human consciousness is at the same time as being a form of awareness and sensitivity and understanding, it's also a form of ignorance. The ordinary everyday consciousness that we have leaves out more than it takes in. The ordinary everyday consciousness that we have leaves out more than it takes in. And because of this, it leaves out things that are terribly important. It leaves out things that would, if we did know them, allay our anxieties and fears and horrors. And if we could extend our awareness, you see, to include those things that we leave out, we would have a deep interior peace. Because we would all know the one thing that you mustn't know. The ordinary everyday consciousness that we have leaves out more than it takes in. The ordinary everyday consciousness that we have leaves out more, according to the rules of our particular social game. The one thing you mustn't know, that's really not allowed, that is the lowdown on life. And then the lowdown, on the one hand, means the real dirt on things. But the lowdown is also what is profound, what is mysterious, what is in the depths. And there's something left out. And our everyday consciousness screens this out in the same way that when you say you have weaving, you have, say, on this rug here in front of us, when the black finishes here, the black threads will go underneath and then appear again over here, then they'll go underneath the white and then they'll appear again over here, so that the back will be the obverse pattern of the front. Now, the world is like that. The ordinary everyday consciousness that we have leaves out more than it takes in. The ordinary everyday consciousness that we have leaves out more than it takes in. Our sense organs are selective. They pick out certain things. They're receptive. For example, we have a small band, what you might call a spectrum of light, of sound, of tactile sensation, and so on, to which the human organism is sensitive. But we know that outside that small band, there is a huge range of vibrations to which we have built instruments that are sensitive. Things like cosmic rays, ultraviolet rays, gamma rays, hard X-rays, and so on. They're all outside the band of our spectrum. And obviously, there are things that are outside the range of our instruments. We may build new instruments someday which will evoke bring into our consciousness other orders of vibration altogether, but yet, as yet, we don't know about. So you could imagine, you see, the universe is a vast, vast system of vibrations and has infinite possibilities. The ordinary, everyday consciousness that we have leaves out more than it takes in. The ordinary, everyday consciousness that we have leaves out more than it takes in. The ordinary, everyday consciousness that we have leaves out more than it takes in. The ordinary, everyday consciousness that we have leaves out more than it takes in. The ordinary, everyday consciousness that we have leaves out more than it takes in. The ordinary, everyday consciousness that we
Hey, then it takes in. Yo, what up? This album sounds amazing already. What a great album. I haven't actually listened to this album all the way through, by the way, since I released it. I actually haven't listened to it all the way through since before I released it. How about that? Joe's Bakery, thank you very much for the £50. What a lovely thing to do. It says, discovering this album was one of the highlights of 2019 for me. I drove all around Portugal in my camper listening to it, and it made me fall in love with music again. I've since listened to it maybe 100 times. Thanks for gifting it to us and all you do. Thank you, bless. That's a beautiful thing. I had a little tear on my left face. God bless you. Ooh, this sounds nice. Ah! It's making my tummy do that funny thing. Yeah! Come on, baby.
All these vibrations, you know, are like the strings on a harp. And the harps that the angels are supposed to play in heaven are really this huge possibility.
See, when you play the harp, you select strings. You don't play all the strings. It's stupid to just run your finger along the whole edge of the harp, back and forth, and go. What you do is you pick out with your fingers, select just like on the piano, you know, you pick out certain notes, and these make the patterns. But at the same time as you pick out, you reject what you don't pick out. But it's all there, constituting a fundamental continuity, the kind of continuity of the thread as they go to the back of the woven material and make up the obverse of the pattern that's on the front. Now, the question that is absolutely basic for all human beings is, what have you left out? What have you left out? What have you left out? Really? You are focused on certain things that constitute what you call everyday reality. Look, you single out people and you see them sitting all around. Sitting all around. And you know there are things that are really there. And then behind the people are the houses or whatever we live in, the earth, and behind all that the sky, and so on. But we see the world as a collection of rather disjointed, events and things. And I might say to you as you came in here today, now, my goodness, you all forgot something. What did you forget? You think, my goodness, did I put my pants on? Did I wear a sweater? Did I put my glasses and my hair on, or my wig or whatever? No, no, it's none of that. Or something you forgot. See, everybody's forgotten something. You left it out. Just missed it. See? And so I can bring this out, what you've forgotten, if I ask you, who are you? Well, you say, I'm Paul Jones, or whatever your name happens to be. I say, oh, no. Don't give me that stuff. Who are you, really? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you, really? And you think, whoa, of course, I'm just me. No, don't give me that. I don't want to hear all that nonsense. You're playing a trick on me. Really, deep down, who are you? I don't know. Well, that's the thing to find out. That's the thing that's been forgotten. See, that's the underside of the tapestry, the thing that's been left out. Because what we are carefully taught to ignore is that every one of us, fundamentally, deep inside, is an act of, a function of, a performance of, a manifestation of the works. The whole blinking cosmos, with all its galaxies, and forever and ever and ever, whatever it is beyond that. What you might call God in the Western tradition, or Brahman in Hindu philosophy, or Tao in Chinese. Every one of us is really that, but we are pretending we aren't. And we are pretending with tremendous skill and deception. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you really?
Yo, come on. We're listening to the WATTSWAVE 5 vinyl test pressings. We're doing it live. It could go incredibly wrong, but it's just going oh so right. Oh, that felt good. How you feeling out there? How's it sounding out there in MAZ?
What I would call a really swinging human being is a person who lives on two levels at once. He's able to live on the level of being his ordinary ego, his everyday personality, and play his role in life and observe all the rules and so on that go with that. But if he's only on that level, if he's only playing that kind of thing and thinks that's all there is, it becomes a drag. And he starts being the kind of person who feels that he's just got to go on surviving. It's terribly important to go on surviving. Live. He works at that. And his children learn the same attitude from him. He says, well, I've got to survive because I've got all these children I've got to support, and so on and so forth. And then they take the same attitude. And they breed up children, and they feel compulsive about supporting them. They've got to go on. And so nobody really has any fun. It's just we got to make this thing, see? And you don't have to. See, whenever I get somebody who comes to me and says, I really can't go on, and I have to commit suicide, I say, well, that's entirely, you're right. There's really no reason why you should go on, and if you want to commit suicide, do it. You can check out. Of course, this reduces anxiety when they feel free to commit suicide. They don't really have to commit suicide so much. You can commit partial suicide.
Akira.
Damn, that's a beautiful record right there.
He's got clout.
The sense that you just have to go on living.
Hey,
That life is a must.
hey.
When you say to anything spontaneous, see, life is spontaneous. It happens, in the words of the Taoists, Ziran, which means of itself so. That's their Chinese expression for nature. What happens by itself, what isn't pushed, but it just pops up, you see? You came into being, you know? It happens in a kind of a plop way like that, see? Now, you can't tell that process. You ought to happen. You must happen. Because that puts a bind on it in the same way as when you have a child and all the relatives have come to a party on Thanksgiving, the child into the middle of all the relatives and say, now dear, play. Now dear, play, play. Now dear, play, play. Play on demand, play on demand, play on demand, play, play. Say now dear, play, play. Now dear, play, play. Play on demand, play on demand, play on demand, play. See, it absolutely bugs the child to do it like that. And so this is the problem for every artist. Because an artist is a man who makes his living by playing. Whether he's dancing, painting, or playing music, or whatever it is. And he has to overcome this problem. He has to know how to play in public at a given time on an appointment. See? Now that's not an easy thing to learn. But when you catch on to the trick of it, you can do it. To play on demand. That's the hardest lesson of life. To contrive what is called by my Japanese artist friend Saburo Hasegawa a controlled accident. Now dear, play, play. Now dear, play, play. Play on demand, play on demand, play on demand, play, play. Say now dear, play, play. Now dear, play, play. Play on demand, play on demand, play on demand, play, play. Now dear, play, play. Now dear, play, play. Play on demand, play on demand, play on demand, play, play. Say now dear, Play on demand, play on demand, play on demand, play.
Oh man! Why does everything sound so much better on vinyl? I don't get it. It's amazing. How's this shiny black thing do this? Little wiggly shiny black thing and a needle? That's just mental. What up, Red King? Thank you for the support. Says sounds incredible. Alan Watts would be proud of how beautiful this is. I know, right? I think you're right. Pixie's in the house. Thank you, Pixie, for the NC10 buck. Oh man, every one of us is an aperture through which the whole cosmos. Oh, you kidding me? As if this exists.
The thing is that we have been educated to use our minds in a certain way, a way that ignores or screens out the fact that every one of us is an aperture through which the whole cosmos looks out. Every one of us is an aperture through which the whole cosmos looks out. You see, it's as if you had a light covered with a black ball, and in this ball were pinholes, and each pinhole is an aperture through which the light comes out. So in that way, every one of us is actually a pinhole through which the fundamental light, that is the existence itself, looks out. Only the game we're playing is not to know this. To be only that little hole, which we call me, my ego, my specific John Jones, or whatever. Every one of us is an aperture through which the whole cosmos looks out. Every one of us is an aperture through which the whole cosmos looks out. If we can maintain at the same time the sense of being this specific John Jones with his role in life, or whatever, and know also underneath this that we are the whole works, you get a very marvelous and agreeable arrangement. A most remarkable harmoniousness. I mean, it gives one's life a great sense of joy and exuberance, if you can carry on these two things at once. If you, in other words, you know that all the serious predicaments of life are a game. Every one of us is an aperture through which the whole cosmos looks out. Every one of us is an aperture through which the whole cosmos looks out.
Yo, sounds amazing. And oh, that was the end of side A. That was the end of side A. Oh, I forgot about the whole side A, side B thing. That just makes it an even bigger adventure. Wow, what do we think of the program so far? Hey, thank you, Mike B, for this support. Victory says that sticker, and I think you're right, baby. Well, no, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves here, but we can say that side A, I think side A was a victory. It sounded amazing. Also, I haven't listened to this record since I made it, and it's really good. There's, you know, some of the songs I'll play on Meaning Stream, but I haven't, like, listened to it sequentially, and, like, I haven't really heard that Swingin' Human song, and that's crazy good. Oh, my goodness.
Perfect.
What's everyone saying out there? Spencer Barrett says, so good. Cindy Bailey says,
Perfect.
Dan Frank's applauding. People seem happy. This is nice. Joshua Tran says it's contagious and analog rather than discrete like digital formats. Oh, it's continuous and analog. I love the continuous aspect of it. I love that aspect of it. It's not like multiple little things stitched together. It's like big things. Big things. Matt Carter says, did I make it in time? Just finished my daily run listening to Goggins. Get after it, baby. Proud of you. Sigmund Wong says, side A, solid victory. Mike B says, side A, more like side yay. Joel Asho, what's up, baby? Arocho says, your Alan Watts collection is fire. Thank you, baby.
Perfect.
And now on vinyl. Now on vinyl. A little bit of it is now on vinyl. And we're going to go in on side B. All right, baby, let's go. Side B, let's get it. Oh, shoot, are you kidding me? Oh! Oh!
Now, I want to put it two ways. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, something to be condemned, to take your own individual life seriously, in dead earnest, and to have all the problems that go with that. Do you understand that being that way, that being a real mixed up human being, is a manifestation of nature? That is something just like patterns on the waves out here. Patterns on the waves. Patterns on the waves. Patterns on the waves. Patterns on the waves. Or like a seashell. You know, we pick up shells. I always keep one around, as sort of an example. Many things. Say, my goodness, isn't that gorgeous? There's not an aesthetic fault in it anywhere. It's absolutely perfect. Now, I wonder if these fish look at each other's shells and say, don't you think she's kind of fat? Oh my, those markings aren't really very well spaced. Because that's what we do. Patterns on the wave. Patterns on the wave. That's what we do. Patterns on the wave. Patterns on the wave. That's what we do. See, we don't realize that all of us in our various goings-on and behavior and so on are just as much and more marvelous, much more complicated, much more interesting. All these gorgeous faces that I'm looking at. You know, every one of them. Some are supposedly pretty, some are supposedly not so pretty. But they're all absolutely gorgeous. And everybody's eyes is a piece of jewelry beyond compare. Beautiful. Beautiful. on the wave. That's what we do. Patterns on the wave. Patterns on the wave. That's what we do.
Hey. Yeah, this is an incredibly good album. It sounds so nice. Shouts out to those seagulls. Nice piano there. Akira the Don. Oh! Oh, are you kidding me? Yo. Give this guy all the Grammys. Woo!
We have specialized in a certain kind of awareness that makes us neglectful. You see, we specialize in more or less briefly concentrated, pinpoint attention. We look at this and we look at that. And we select from all the things we might possibly be aware of, only certain things. And as a result of that, we leave out of our everyday consciousness one amazing beauty of experience that we never see at all. And on the other hand, the very deep thing, the sense of our basic identity, unity with, oneness with the total process of being. See, because we are staring, as it were, at certain features of the landscape, we don't see the background. And because we get fascinated with, I could go into details of this shell, as I said, and put myself in the mind of a conch or whatever it is that lives in this thing. And to say, that's not so hot, that one. Like that, see? And so, I wouldn't see the whole thing. But when I look at it like this, when anybody looks at it like that, we say, oh my God, isn't that gorgeous? Oh my God, isn't that gorgeous? Oh my God, isn't that gorgeous? Oh my God, isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah, I forgot about that. And do you know what incredible restraint it took for me to not put drums on that song? It was incredible restraint to not put drums on that song, but I wanted a moment of blissful, well, that.
Another way of talking about the web is that there are different levels of magnification. For example, supposing you take a piece of embroidery, and here it is, obviously in front of you, an ordered and beautiful object. Then you take out a microscope, and you look at the individual threads. At a certain point, as you turn up the microscope, you'll get a hopeless tangle. It doesn't make any sense at all. The wrapped fiber that constitutes the thread is a mess. Hasn't been organized, nobody did anything about it. But at the level of magnification at which you actually see it with the naked eye, it's all been organized. It's all been organized. It's all been organized. It's all been organized. All right, now keep turning up that microscope. Take one of those individual threads in the fiber that seems to be so chaotic and go into the constitution of that. And again, you will find fantastic order. You'll find the most gorgeous designs of molecules. Then to keep turning it up, and again at a certain level you'll find chaos again. All right, keep going, and at another level you'll find this marvelous order. Now you see, order and randomness constitute, in other words, the warp and the woof. Where everything is in order, everything's under control. In randomness, it's all been organized. It's a mess. 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 But we wouldn't know what order was unless we had messes. It's the contrast of order and messes that order itself depends upon. And so in exactly the same way, it is the contrast of on and off, there and not there. In other words, life and death, being and non-being, that constitutes existence. Only we pretend that the random side of things, the disorderly side of things, could possibly win in the game of competition, or I would rather call it collaboration between the two. When you lose sight of the fact that the order principle and the random principle go together, that's exactly the same predicament as losing sight of the fact that all individually delineated things and beings are connected underneath. You know, just like mountains stick out of the earth and there's the fundamental earth underneath them, so all of us as different things, we stick out of reality. And there's a continuity underneath, but you ignore that. See, that's the thing that's left out. It's all been organized. It's a mess. 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 See, I'm just giving you many examples of the same principle.
Still my being now.
Akira.
He's got clout.
Really, deep down, we are, each one of us, everything that there is. Doing it this way, then again that way, then again another way. Doing it this way, then again that way, then again another way. Really, deep down, we are, each one of us, everything that there is. Doing it this way, and again that way, and again another way. And that's what it keeps up doing forever and ever. Only, it has holidays, which are called deaths. You know, in the story of the creation of the world in the Bible, God works for 7 days and rests the seventh. It's necessary to have a holiday. Holidays, holy day. The point is that a holiday is paused between between something going on is of the essence of the idea of a web. A famous Irishman is supposed to have described a net as a lot of holes tied together with string. So the holes are very, very important. These are the holy days. You see the holes. This all goes together. Really, deep down, we are, each one of us, everything that there is. Doing it this way, and again that way, and again another way. Doing it this way, and again that way, and again another way. Really, deep down, we are, each one of us, everything that there is. Doing it this way, and again that way, and again another way. And that's what it keeps up doing forever and ever. So, there must be that interval. And it exists on all kinds of levels. It isn't simply that there is, for example, a sound, but is sounded, is a vibration. And the sound goes on and off. Everything that we call sound is sound silence. There is no such thing as pure sound. You couldn't hear it. What you hear is that tap, 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 tap against the eardrum. But it happens very fast, so that you get more of an impression of sound than you do of silence. That between every little undulation of sound, there is also an interval. When you listen to music, you hear a melody. When you listen to music, you hear a melody. When you listen to music, you hear a melody. When you listen to music, you hear a melody. When you listen to music, you hear a melody. When you listen to music, you hear a melody. Really, deep down, we are, each one of us, everything that there is. Doing it this way, and again that way, and again another way. Doing it this way, and again that way, and again another way. Really, deep down, we are, each one of us, everything that there is. Doing it this way, and again that way, and again another way. And that's what it keeps up doing forever and ever. When you listen to music, you hear a melody. When you listen to music, you hear a melody. When you listen to music, you hear a melody. When you listen to music, you hear a melody. But what you hear, actually, that makes the melody significant are the steps between the tones, what we call the intervals. And a person who doesn't hear intervals is tone deaf. He only hears noises. He doesn't hear the steps. So, that interval between whatever happens is as important as what happens. So we'll call these two things, the sound and the silence, the life and the death, somewhat analogous in weaving to the warp and the woof. Now, look at the marvelous way in which warp and woof go together. A piece of cloth is an extraordinary thing when you consider it's made of a line of string. There's something that always struck me as a child. Fabulous. That string, just thread, could turn into cloth. Why should it hang together? How improbable.
Yo, come on. That's so good. Who made this?
My mother was a very great artist in embroidery. Absolutely fabulous work. And she could do everything with thread. Sewing, knitting, embroidery, make tapestries, repair tapestries. Oh, just fabulous work. So I've grown up in a background where thread is of enormous importance. She made her living this way for a while. So I was always amazed at the way you take a ball of wool with knitting needles, suddenly it turns into a sweater. Fantastic. But I found out, you see, the secret of this, which is that it will do this, it will hold together by this combination of warp and woof. Warp and woof. This process where one thread goes under the other, omits the next, goes under the other, warp and woof. Warp and woof. And then the next thing does the same thing but in the opposite way. Connect that. And they hold each other up. For example, you can put two sticks of wood and lean them against each other, and they'll stand up. You know, the Chinese character for man looks more or less like that. And although this is simply the brush form, brush abbreviation of what were originally the legs of a little human stick figure, there's a story that Japanese children sometimes learn from their mothers. The reason this is the character for man is that two sticks lent together as I described will keep each other up. And the one depends on the other. It's mutual. So in the same way, the existence of human beings depends on our supporting each other. Without that, no one of us can exist. Warp and woof. Warp and woof. This process where one thread goes under the other, omits the next, goes under the other, warp and woof. Warp and woof. And then the next thing does the same thing but in the opposite way. Connect that. But that, which may seem a little trite, a little sort of moralistic and so on, but it is absolutely fundamental that anything that there is, whenever we can say that something exists, existence is a function of relationship, 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 of relationship.
And so ends side B. Ah! Wow, side B, that was beautiful. Wow. Yo, come on, make some noise. Make some noise in the chat. Yo. Woo! This is emotional. Wow, what a great record. I haven't listened to this album since I made it. I'm really happy. I used to have this thing where, like, every time I made a record, like, I didn't like it. Like, I'd like it when I made it, but then, you know, by the time it came out, or if I listened to it a little while afterwards, I'd be like, all I'd be able to hear was what I would do differently, you know? Or it's not the case anymore, man. Everything, ever since we started this hyper productivity thing, exactly 2.5 years ago, I'm honestly very happy with it all. It's all wonderful. Imperfections and all. You know, you hear things that like maybe you do differently now, but it's wonderful. That was a beautiful side. This is a much more understated album than I remember it being. It's very interesting. It's also interesting how it really contrasts really nicely with WATTSWAVE 2. And they're supposed to, you know, it's supposed to be this duality thing, and it really is. Mike B, what's cracking, baby, says, I listen to this one on Spotify non-stop. Well, get ready to listen to it on circular vinyl. Is vinyl plastic? I suppose it's a kind of plastic, you know? I mean, this is basically, I don't know if you've ever seen that George Carlin skit, Earth plus plastic. He's like, you know, I always talk about this, you know what I mean? This, we are nature. People get themselves so confused. They think they're above or beyond nature. It's like, we are nature. You know, a nuke is nature. Just like a beaver dam is nature. You know, you either trust nature or you don't. But George Carlin has this bit. He's like, you know, maybe people are like, oh, we're destroying the earth. No, maybe we'll destroy ourselves, but the earth will be fine. The earth will be there and covered in plastic. You know, maybe that's what the earth wanted all along. Maybe that's why nature made us, because it wanted plastic for itself. Earth plus plastic, you know. And maybe the whole reason for everything to come into being was because nature wanted MEANINGWAVE on vinyl. Maybe nature just wanted this WATTSWAVE vinyl. Maybe that's it. Maybe this is the whole point of everything. Maybe the whole point of everything was side B. Side B was amazing. Can we, I don't know how you beat side B. I don't know how you do that. Because, you know, honestly, that had me emotional. I had little tears in my eyes and shit. I don't know why vinyl sounds so good, but it does, baby. It does. What up, Ego Cognis? What up, Luke Ford? What up, Mike Basses? Dang, what a guy side B is. Yeah, side B is a guy. Milton Down says, epic vibes. Joel R. Rocho says, dope. Alec Moran says, so clean, love it. Command 8 says, look at Akira's grin, seeing your work, manifesting it to reality. I know, right? Austin came in. I always think about how Alan Watts and Terence McKenna had a hunch, but absolutely no idea how pervasive their words would be someday. I know, right? And it's just early days on that. Both of those two gentlemen you just mentioned are going to be very, very, very big in the next 7 years. In the next 7 years, as we go into the neo-psychedelic wholesome age, you know, as we plunge into that, those two voices are going to be very, very big and powerful voices. Where they are now is nothing compared to where they will be. Just you watch. You know I'm always right about these things. Thank you, Austin came in for the support. Thank you, Mike B for the support. Thank you, Pixie for the support. Thank you, Red King, Joe's Bakery. Thank you for everyone who's locked in. Let's check out Side C. Are you ready? Are you ready for Side C? It's been so long since I listened to this record, I don't even know what the songs are. I don't know what's going to happen. What's the vibes? I just assume it's great, because so far it has been. That was the perfect drop. Did you hear that? All right, let's get it. Oh, okay. Ooh.
Motion itself is a function of relation. For example, if there is only one object, one small ball in the middle of endless space, nobody knows whether it's moving. Because you can't tell whether it's approaching anything or whether it's going away from anything. Because there's nothing else. So in that state of affairs, no motion exists. But if we introduce a second ball into the picture, and the two either come towards each other or go away from each other, then we can say that both of them, or either of them, is in motion. We can't decide which is the one that's doing the moving. Could be one, could be the other. Now we'll put 3 balls into space, and we find 2 of them staying together, and the other one going away. Now it's up to the 2 of them to decide whether the other one is going away from them or they're going away from the other, because 2 is a majority. And the vote always, of course, goes to the majority. The universe being basically a democratic organization. And so it goes. So it goes. once you've got that, you can see that motion is a form of relationship. Let me put it in another way. Energy is a form of relationship. If the universe is basically a play of energy, then you can say energy and relationship go
Me and my
together.
mum when we were on the walk back from the lake.
Now, what is this saying? This is saying that being, existence itself, is relationship. And so it goes. So it goes. So it goes. So it goes. So it goes.
Wow. I always wanted to make a song called So It Goes. It's one of those things that Kurt Vonnegut used to say, you know? I actually wrote a song called So It Goes for the unreleased third Akira the Don album. Wow, I forgot about this song. This song's amazing. We had a special little guest appearance from Hercules there. Hey, thank you, Luke. Bless up, Chris Allen. Thank you, guys. Yeah, Herc just saw a really, really big spider, bigger than his fist. Pretty exciting times here in Texas. Ooh! Man!
Akira.
He's got clout.
You know the old question. If a tree crashes in a forest and there is nobody around to hear it, is there a noise? This question has been discussed in many futile ways. But noise, basically, is a state of affairs that requires an eardrum and an audio nervous system behind the eardrum. When the tree falls, it makes the air vibrate. If there is anywhere around an ear with the appropriate nervous system, there will be a noise. Because noise is a relationship between motion in the air and ears. If there is not any ear around, there won't be any noise, although there will be vibration in the air. And if there is some instrument around, such as a microphone attached to a tape recorder, there will be noise. There will be a vibration. There will be light. In the darkness. In the same way, let's suppose the sun sends out light into space. Now, the space surrounding the sun will be black darkness, as if there were no light in it, unless a planet happens to float by. When a planet floats by, there will be light. In the darkness. But if there isn't anything to relate to the sun in that way, then comes no light. Now this goes right down to the root and ground of everything. It goes down to the essence of your nerves, your whole being. that it's all an interdependence. There will be noise. There will be a vibration. There will be light. In the darkness, there will be noise. There will be a vibration. There will be light. In the darkness. And that's why one of the basic symbols of the universe is the Chinese yin-yang symbol, which you know is a circle with an S curve in the center. One side of the S is black, the other is white. So it makes, as it were, two commas or two fishes. And the eye of the fish is the opposite color. The white fish has a black eye, the black fish has a white eye, curling in on each other. Now this thing is called a helix. And that is the fundamental form of the galaxies, the great nebulae we see out in space. And this is basically, too, the position of sexual intercourse. This is lovemaking. And this is, you know, when you hold hands and so on. This is it. This is it. There will be noise. There will be a vibration. There will be light. In the darkness, there will be noise. There will be a vibration. There will be light. In the darkness, but there are two involved, and the two are secretly one.
Whoa. Yo, that's like a #1 smash in heaven, baby.
To get into the unitive world, underneath, underlying, and supporting the everyday practical world, there have to be certain alterations in one's common sense. Now, there are certain ideas, and beyond these ideas, certain feelings that are difficult to get across, not because they're intellectually complicated, not at all because of that, but because they're unfamiliar. They're strange. We haven't been brought up to accommodate. In exactly the same way that in past times, people knew that the planets were supported in the sky because they were embedded in spheres of crystal. And if they weren't embedded in spheres of crystal, and of course you could see them because you could see through them, they would fall down on the Earth. And now when astronomers finally suggested that there were no crystal spheres, people felt unbelievably insecure. See? They had a terrible time assimilating this idea. Now, do you see what it involves? To assimilate a really new idea, you have to do quite a flip. For example, there's some people whose number systems only account for quantities. 1, 2, 3, many. So they don't have any concept of 4 corners to a table. See, a table has many corners. And a pile of pebbles is, in that sense, equivalent in manyness to the four corners of the table. Now, they have difficulty, you see, in beginning to assimilate the idea of counting through and numbering all those corners or all those pebbles. But we've done that. And so to us, that is perfectly simple. But imagine the kind of mentality, the kind of person to whom that is not simple at all. And now, in exactly the same way, there is here what I'm trying to explain. A new idea that most people don't assimilate. And that is the idea of the total interdependence of everything in the world.
Hang on 2 secs. Ooh, I've just gotta get some fluff off the needle. I was like, oh, what's going on there? That sounded a bit weird then. There's a big lump of fluff there on the needle. You see that? You see that lump of fluff? Look at that guy. Look at that fluffy boy. That rude, fluffy boy. I was like, oh no, is this thing balked? I was like, oh, there's a big fluffy boy on the end of the needle. That would explain it. That's the joy of vinyl, baby. It's just like, just that. Hey. Oh man, I always wanted to hear what this sounded like on record.
The Buddhists in Japan call it Jiji Muge. Jiji Muge. Between event and event, there is no block. And they represent this imagistically as a network. Imagine a multidimensional spider web covered in dew in the morning.
Oh my goodness!
And every single drop of dew on this web contains in it the reflections of all the other drops of dew. And of course, in turn, in every drop of dew that one drop reflects, there is the reflection of all the others again. And they use this image to represent the interdependence of everything in the world. You see, it takes two. We could have so much fun, but it takes more than one. You see, it takes two. We could have so much fun, but it takes more than one. She don't want it. In other words, if we give this dewdrop image, if we put it into a linguistic analogy, we would say this: words have meaning only in context. The meaning of any word depends upon the sentence or upon the paragraph in which it's found. So that if I say, this tree has no bark, that's one thing. And if I say, this dog has no bark, that's another thing. So you see always that the meaning of the word is in relation to the context. Now, in exactly the same way, the meaning as well as the existence of an individual person, an organism, is in relation to the context. You are what you are, sitting here at this moment in your particular kind of clothes and with the particular colors of your faces and your particular personalities your family involvements, your business involvements, your neuroses, and your everything. You are that precisely in relation to an extremely complex environment.
You see, it takes two. We could have so much fun, but it takes more than one. You see, it takes two. We could have so much fun, but it takes more than one. She don't want it.
If a given star that we observed didn't exist, you would be different from what you are now. I don't say you wouldn't exist, but you would exist differently. You might say the connection is very faint, is something that you don't ordinarily have to think about. It's not important. But basically it is important. Only you say, I don't have to think about it, because it's there all the time. See, for example, the floor is underneath you all the time. Some sort of floor, some sort of earth. And you really don't have to think about it. It's just always there, it's always around. If you become insensitive, you stop thinking about it. But there it is. And so in the same way, our subtle interdependence with, mind you, it's not just our plain existence. It's the kind of existence we have is dependent upon all these things. Also our plain existence, but that gets way down. The fundamental thing is existence is relationship. In other words, if my finger up here is all alone and the wind doesn't move and nothing touches it, it stops knowing that it's there. But if something comes along and does, immediately it's aware that it's there. So, you see, it takes two. We could have so much fun, but it takes more than one. You see, it takes two. We could have so much fun, but it takes more than one. She don't want it. But in this way, you see, what we call duality, well, you can see, can't you, how duality is fundamental. It takes two. But duality is always secretly unity. Unity. Duality is always secretly unity. 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 Unity.
Yeah, I'm so happy. That sounded so epic. Oh wow! Oh wow! That's the end of side C. There's only one more side. One more side to go. Wow! What a banger! Yo, that bass sounded so good coming out of that plastic polymer thing. Yeah, it did. Oh! How you doing out there? How you feeling? How's this sounding to you? I was like taken aback by that one. I was like, oh, that sounded so fat. That sounded so big. I wanted to take that straight to a club in you know, the late 90s or something. You know what I mean? And just freak them out. You know what I mean? Because if you took that back to like 1997, they didn't have bass at that level yet. You know what I mean? They didn't have that yet. They didn't have that. Oh, shoot. Yo. Yo. Turn down for what? What up, Alec Moran? I love how good this sounds. Cannot wait. Me neither, baby. I am shocked. Mike Betters absolutely cannot wait to have these in my hands. Yeah. My man, halfway through right side C, the bass is a bit squashed. Hopefully it's only a pressing error. No, it was because the there was fuzz. It was. Did you not see? It was the there was a big load of fluff on the what do you call it? Needle. Anyway, we've got 10 of these. We have to listen to 10 of these to check for consistency. So we shall. Anyway. This is a scientific operation. Let's go back and check it was the dust. And maybe it wasn't.
But there will be light. In the darkness. And that's why one of the basic symbols of the universe is the Chinese yin-yang.
Let's check out that bass. Now,
which you know is a circle.
It is worth bearing in mind that this record in general
one side of the S
is push.
The other is
so
white.
This track is hot.
Makes as it were two commas or two fishes. And the eye of the fish is the opposite color.
Yeah, that sounds good.
The white fish has a black eye, the black fish has a white eye. Curling in on each other.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Now this thing is called a helix. And that is the fundamental form of
the that's
galaxies.
Hot. Good hot.
The great nebulae we see out in space.
Woo!
And this is basically too the position of sexual intercourse.
Woo!
This is lovemaking. And this is, you know, when you hold hands and so on. This is it. This is it. There will be noise.
I think I invented UK drill with this record.
A vibration.
This is basically like UK drill records have bass that does that.
There will be light. In the darkness.
Aye, aye.
There will be noise. There will be a vibration. There will be light. In the darkness.
Alright, boom, good news. The record is not distorted. It was indeed fluff on the needle. That sounds flipping huge. And also I invented UK drill.
Involved.
Alright, let's check out side D. Now, I mean, I'm like, maybe we should have done that right at the end, but I wanted to check because someone said in the comments, and it's important. It's important that you know, this is a scientific thing. The whole point of this exercise is to make sure that these sound good, and you know, then we can go manufacture, we can press them in large numbers and get them to you. You know, this isn't a jolly. This is serious business. Serious business, brothers and sisters. Are you ready for side D? Are you ready? Make some noise in the chat if you're ready for side D. Oh my giddy, giddy gosh. Whew. You know what I just did? I just pressed play on my this thing, not this thing. Hang on, first let's get this needle clean again. Spiky boy.
between the words we use, explicit and implicit. The very valuable words. What is explicit? What's on the outside? Let's say how we come on publicly. Explicitly, we are thus and so. We have a fight. We're in competition, say, in business, explicitly. But implicitly, we've worked this out. We've agreed in a secret way that nobody knows about that this competition is extremely valuable to both of us. Take it politically, for example. Let's take the situation of Russia versus the United States. Explicitly, in public, this has to be a big fight. These two ways of life, these two ideologies are opposed. They say, no, we are... But behind the scenes, it's all been carefully worked out. You bet it has. That this opposition has to happen. Because our economy depends on it, and their economy depends on it. And everybody knows this, who's smart. But there are a lot of people who get taken in by the propaganda, and they should be taken in because that makes the thing work. It's crazy. But that's the way it goes. 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 And everything works this way. When swans start to mate, they're not sure what they're supposed to do. And they begin to fight. I had a long talk about this with C.G. Jung. He lived on the edge of Lake Zurich, and he had a little summer house right on the water's edge, and there were many swans there. And I was getting up at the end of a conversation with him, and we were beginning to walk back to the main house, and I said, "Isn't it true that swans are monogamous?" And he said, "Yes, they are." He said, "Do you know, I have had most interesting relationships between these swans, and many of my female patients who thought they were homosexual." And Jung wasn't a sexual snob. I mean, he understood all the legitimacy of all kinds of sexual variation. But he said it has been a point of departure for our discussions. And he said it's a very funny thing that when they begin to mate, they start fighting. And they don't know what it's all about, and then suddenly the fight turns into lovemaking. So that's what I mean. Underneath opposition, there is love. Underneath duality, there's unity. The Tweedledum and Tweedledee agreed. Battle. It's crazy. But that's the way it goes. 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 See, here's that weaving principle. The things hold together by over, under, over, over, under, over, over, under. And that creates a stuff, it creates fabric, it creates clothing, it creates shelter, it creates what we call matter. Matter, mater, mother, and also the same word, maya, illusion. See, the world as a marvelous illusion.
It's crazy, but that's the way it goes. 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 It's crazy, that's the way it goes.
A marvelous illusion. A marvelous illusion. A marvelous illusion.
But that's the way it goes. It's crazy, but that's the way it goes.
A marvelous illusion.
But that's the way it goes. It's crazy, that's the way it goes.
We have tried scientifically to understand the world and explain its mysteries by analyzing the smallest particles of things that exist. Inquiring down, what is this thing we call flesh or call steel or stone? What is it made of? Go down into the midst of it. And that's given us a certain understanding, but only half of the understanding. Equally important is not what is the tiniest particle, but in what context is the tiniest particle. You see? In relation to what is it? Just as the word bark, as I showed you, has different meanings in different sentences. So, the cells, molecules, atoms have different properties in different contexts. Different properties in different So what the scientist equally needs to study is not simply what is anything when very, very minutely analyzed, but where is it? When is it? That makes all the difference. So do you see that a lot of people who get anxious when they hear that everything is relative have no need to get that anxious. Relativity isn't some kind of slippery morass in which all standards and all directions get lost. Relativity is really the soundest situation that there is. Different properties, different contexts. Different properties, different contexts. Relativity is really the soundest situation that there is. Relativity is really the soundest situation that there is.
Excuse me while I just get a bit of fluff off. Hang on. We can't possibly be having any fluff causing distortion on this next record, which is an absolute classic. Now can we?
Relativity is the spot. The soundest.
DJ. Hey, get well soon, Crafty Craft.
Akira.
Get after it, baby.
He's got clout.
Hey.
Do you know this? This is wonderful. X marks the spot. X marks the spot. Imagine this going on and on. Supposing my finger were indefinitely long. Both fingers. They're just crossing each other. Now, on one side of it, it's a pair of scissors. And it cuts. What is it on the other side? Why, it's opening female legs. Saying, please come in. 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 One side of it, it's a pair of scissors. What is it on the other side? Utter softness, utter receptiveness. On the other side, it's... But on this side, it's... Please, 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 please. Yes, 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 yes. Well, and everything's based on that. See? It's this way. Sharpness, teeth, biting, spines, crab shells, all that kind of thing, you know? On the other side, it's the melting softness of life. Please come in. 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 One side of it, it's a pair of scissors. What is it on the other side? So, if you see that, if you get that principle, you can feel yourself not sort of just rattling around in the world as a kind of somebody who's been stuck down there. But you can feel yourself going on in absolutely exact relationship with everything around you. Please come in. 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 One side of it it's a pair of scissors. What is it on the other side? Please come in. 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 One side of it, it's a pair of scissors. What is it on the other side? This is very beautiful.
Akira.
He's got clout.
The outside thing that you see and the inside thing that you are poles of the same magnet, or back and front of the same coin. Without one, there isn't the other. That means, of course, that we are living in the midst of a world of animals, vegetables, minerals, atmospheres, astronomical bodies. It's highly intelligent. Its intelligence concentrated, crystallized in our brains. That's where it comes out, see? In any field. The outside thing that you see and the inside thing that you are poles of the same magnet, or back and front of the same coin. Without one, there isn't the other. Let's take any field of forces. We take a chemical solution, and at certain critical points in this chemical solution, the crystals start to form. And so in the same way, the total intelligence of this whole universe crystallizes in human brains, also in other kinds of brains. That's where it really comes out. But it's the total intelligence of the whole field that does this. So we go with the whole thing, interdepend with it. The outside thing that you see and the inside thing that you are poles of the same magnet, or back and front of the same coin. Without one, there isn't the other. We don't live in an environment which is just rock, just air, just atmosphere and so on. The environment's only like that when we think about it analytically and try to explain it. But when we think of it isn't just rock and air, see, but those things go together. When you see the interconnectedness, when you see in the simplest way how flowers go with bees and other insects, they don't live without them. Humans go with cattle. They don't exist without them. Plants, etc., etc., etc. When you see the interval, the significance of the relationships between these, it's only then that you are aware of the melody. The outside thing that you see and the inside thing that you are are poles of the same magnet, or back and front of the same coin. Without one, there isn't the other. The person who can't hear melody, who's tone deaf, he hears only a succession of sounds, but he's not aware of the intervals. Now, most people are brought up to be tone deaf in respect to their own existence and the rest of the universe. They don't see the relation. They're not aware of the universe. Once you spot that, you spot how everything goes with the thing. That you are one end, and that out there is the other end. And they really go together. Then you may be said to be living a harmonious life.
And there you have it, brothers and sisters. Make some noise for WATTSWAVE 5 on vinyl. It exists. The Web of Life parts 1 and 2 exist on vinyl. They sound beautiful. They sound beautifully complementary. I'm looking forward to doing that back to back on both of them. I guess that's what we'll do. That'll be a very special stream and quite a long one as well. And, you know, I might actually, like, have a joint or something. When that happens, when we get these pressed, with the final artwork, because that's next. I mean, I've got to ask you guys. I mean, does that pass the test? Did that sound good? Did that sound good? That was the whole point. That was the test pressing. We were testing to see if it sounded good. I thought it sounded amazing, personally. It's Joe's Bakery says, 17 years later, the message of my favorite book became my new favorite album. Wow. Commander A says, can't wait to see Akira do some vinyl scratching. Yeah, one of my projects coming up, once I finish this current album, I'm going to do a bit more building. I'm going to build a nice big DJ booth that will actually fit record players as well as all this stuff. The issue I currently have is I don't have room for record players and everything else. Then I can start integrating scratching into the set. So won't that be nice? WMIV says, press 'em Dono. Caroline H says, fantastic. My favorite song is the Suicide one. I like the way he laughs about it. I love that record. Hey, what up, Squiggly Dig? What up, Savage and Chill? Milton Dan says, wow, what an awesome selection of bangers. Yeah, right? That album really holds up just as an album. It's just like loads of amazing songs. Loads of, and what a variety. What a variety of sonics, of textures, and what's amazing is it's just all from half of a lecture. The WATTSWAVE, the Web of Life, that's 2 albums, very long albums, from 1 lecture. Alan Watts really is the gift that keeps on giving, and I just want to take this opportunity to, thank Alan Watts. What an incredible conduit. What an aperture. What an aperture, my goodness. Hey guys, good news. MEANINGWAVE Vital exists! It exists! Yeah, it does! Kay says, is it too late to order mine? Send an email to wecare@meaningwave.com and see if Momadon can sneak you in, since basically we're now about to get them pressed. I don't know exactly what the deal with the numbers is. So send an email to wecare@meaningwave.com. Maybe Momadon can sneak you in. Who knows? What we do know is that we have listened now to the test pressings. The test pressings have been auditioned with our ears. They have. And you know, and it is good. We found it to be good. What up, Squiggly Dig says, Meaning Wave exists! Yes, that's true, Squiggly Dig. Petio Cat says, thanks for his sonorous voice. A beautiful golden voice. A beautiful golden voice. John Hansen says, here late, here later. If you just got here, baby, you just missed us listening to WATTSWAVE 5 on vinyl. It was epic and beautiful. It sounded so delicious and good. And then there was a moment we were like, oh no, is the bass distorted? But it was a big lump of fluff had gotten on the needle, and we got rid of the fluff, and the bass was not distorted. The bass was perfect. The bass was perfect. Yo, did you hear that? Random Rick Ross voice noise just came out of my head. I was also excited. I was also excited because I just got some other good news, which is we've just passed another personal record. We just crossed 150,000 listeners in the past month on Spotify. If you check our Spotify profile, it says it at the top. In the past month, we had 150,000 separate listeners over on Spotify. Shouts out to the algorithms all day long. I just had a look in the back end, so to speak, and we've had 1.38 million listeners on Spotify in total, but the graph looks like a very steep mountain, and yeah, we just hit 150,000 in the past month. We also had our most listeners on a single day on Friday, just gone, over 16,000, 16.2 thousand listeners on Friday, so things are going very nicely. Shouts out to you guys. Thank you all for being here. Milton Dan says 150,000 smart mofos. I know, right? 150,000 smart mofos, most of whom have no idea that the meaning stream exists, which is very exciting. Imagine you're a Meaning Wave fan. You're on Spotify. You're like, oh, this music's great. You know, you listen to it, and then one day you discover the meaning stream. You're like, whoa, whoa, whoa! That beautiful man with the lovely mullet who makes this music, DJs twice a day, on Twitch at 7 in the morning and YouTube at 7 in the evening. Holy cow! Truly, this is the peak of recorded human civilization. Oh my goodness! And truly it is. And truly I'm very happy. Thank you all for being here. That was joyful. Thank you to everyone who's supporting. Thank you in Madness Lies Sanity. Thank you, Luke. I'll give that $2 to Hercules. Thank you, Chris Arlen. Thank you, Austin Kamen, who says goosebumps, chills, may be linked to more connectivity between auditory cortex and emotion processing. Hairs stand up due to increased electrical activity. Take a few deep breaths next time. Embrace it. That's right, baby. Lean in. Thank you, Mike B. Thank you, Pixie. Thank you, Red King. Says, sounds incredible. Alan Watts would be proud of how beautiful this is. I think you would. I think you would. I think he did incredible work there. And I also love that, I don't know if you've ever heard that quote of his, but where he talks about how he says something along the lines of, I'm very good with words, not so much with music. Maybe in the next life. And the wish came true. And that makes me glad. It also makes me a little teary thinking about it. What up, Joe's Bakery? Thank you, baby. Says, discovering the album. This album was one of the highlights of 2019 for me. I drove all around Portugal in my camper, listening, and it made me fall in love with music again. I've since listened to it maybe 100 times. Thank you for gifting it to us and all you do. And thank you, Joe's Bakery. And you said lots of lovely things in the chat tonight. I'll be looking at the chat, and Joe's Bakery said something nice. If there was such a thing as a music press, I think you would be a good person at writing about music. Not many people are good at writing about music. I think you are. Nick Kikio, Sissio, says, get a dual router. That will do it for NetSwitch. Ooh, I got to screenshot this comment. I didn't know that existed. Dual router. I'm going to look into that. Thank you. Alec Moran, thank you. And thank you all for being here on this most auspicious occasion when we discovered that it is true. Meaning Wave really does exist. It really, really does, brothers and sisters. It really, really does. It really, really does. Anyway, yeah, that's wonderful. Okay, so we've just got to listen to the other 10 of each of these that got sent through and make sure that the sonic consistency is indeed consistent, and then we can press it. So that's wonderful, and we'll let you know how long that's going to take, and so we have a better idea of when you can start to expect them to start, flapping through your letterbox, so to speak. And this is very exciting. And obviously, I'm now very excited about what we can do going forward, the potential going forward. Oh my goodness. Speaking of which, I was working on the new album today, and it's just amazing. And I'm looking forward to letting you know a bit more about that next week and playing you some songs from it quite soon. And yes, and of course, this is the place to be if you want to hear such things. The Meaning Stream and the Meaning Wave Morning Show over on Twitch, 7/7, both sevens. You will hear exclusive things. Yes, you will. And yeah, I look forward to sharing all that with you. Thank you again for being here. Thank you again to everyone who's been supporting. If you want to support the wave, you know what to do. You can become a member of the channel. Get yourself some fly emojis. Like Jim Carter there. Jim Carter's got a load of Akira the Don laser eye emojis. That's amazing. You can become a member of the Patreon. Members of the Patreon or the YouTube at level 4 and above will get their names etched into the new album for all time. You will be immortalized, yes you will. You can go to meaningwave.com. You can get a nice shirt like this one that says Meaning Wave on it, so that Meaning Wave can exist, and you can let everybody know the Meaning Wave exists. You can go to Spotify and join those 150,000 smart people. Rack up the playlists. Send them to your co-workers, that type of thing. What else can you do? You can go to Bandcamp and download the music. And of course, the most important thing you could do is spread the good word of Meaning Wave. And you could become a Meaning Wave missionary. That's just occurred to me now. That could be a thing. Meaning Wave missionaries. We could get you a missionary pack, that's got like stickers in it and Bibles, meaning Bibles. We need Meaning Wave Bibles. What we need to do is make a book that's all the Meaning Wave lyrics in a book and call it the Bible of Meaning Wave or something like that. All these amazing ideas just coming to me. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Anyway, yeah, you could become a Meaning Wave missionary, and you can just walk around the neighborhood banging on doors and wait for someone to answer the door. And when they answer the door, you just smile at them. You say, "Hi, Meaning Wave exists," and then carry on about your business. Because you've done your work. You've done your good work of being a Meaning Wave missionary. You see how it works. You can also do that in a digital fashion. Say you're on Twitter, right? You go on Twitter and some people are having an argument about nothing useful. You could just jump in there and go, Meaning Wave exists, and just derail the conversation. They'll be a bit confused, and then maybe they'll go look at some Meaning Wave, and then they won't have stupid arguments on the internet anymore, because they'll be enlightened. You could save a life today just by jumping in a conversation on Twitter and saying Meaning Wave exists. You could also do the same thing on Facebook and Instagram. I believe there are also other places where people have conversations. That's all stuff you could do. But in madness lies sanity. Says, "Shut up and take my money." Very well. Indeed, these are all things you can do, but of course, what I would like you to do right now is join me for By 5. And then if you want to carry on hanging out with the homies, you can head on over to Meaning Wave Radio 24/7. That's waiting for you right now. It's waiting for you over there. Waiting for you over there. Yes, it is. And so, yeah, By 5 time it is. By 5 time it is. And, oh, good news, by the way. Hercules beat the devil today. Hercules beat the devil in Cuphead. He beat that devil. Proud of that boy. It was very difficult, and he did it. And I don't think I've told him how proud I am of him. So I will. I will go do that now, after we've done a By 5. Woo! I feel very joyful, I gotta say. Can you tell? 3, 2, 1. By 5, you beautiful, beautiful meaning babies. Get wrecked, devil, says Squiggly Dick. That's right, baby. Get wrecked, devil. Maybe we'll get Hercules on here tomorrow to celebrate and talk about his epic achievement and destroying the devil. Anyway, God bless you guys. Thank you for being here. I'll see you at 7 o'clock in the morning on the TWITCH and over on Meaning Wave Radio. Pyum, pyum, pyum.